Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the ColdFusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community. Welcome back to another Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition. It is episode 170, not 160.
170.
Oh, I forgot which month it was.
November, Gavin.
I know, November 1st. Man, hope everyone's having a great one. You guys didn't have too much fun trick-or-treating last night. One of my friends actually said we should all have a fog delay after Halloween. I thought that's actually not a bad idea. So, but some of us have to work. We don't get the luxury of being teachers and everything else, right? But
oh yeah, all the kids that are probably hyped up today at school. I didn't even think about the teachers.
Yeah, well, it's just all the parents out, late at night with the kids, and then they got to get up early and get them off to school. But yeah.
I am happy to say that the giant bowl of candy that I was giving out was barely touched by me. So that was a personal win for me.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. We actually had a lot less people, but we went to 200 houses, and one of them, some of the kids actually worked. So we're hoping to get out and do more of that next year. It'll be kind of fun.
Nice.
So scare some people. That sounds like more fun, right?
Yeah. Nice.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Gavin Picken, software developer for Ortus Solutions, and Daniel Garcia, my co-host, is also a senior developer for Ortus Solutions. So thanks for joining us.
Hello. I feel like it's been like a month since I've been on the podcast. It's been crazy. October is crazy for me, Gavin.
It was.
But, yeah. But October's over, and now we're in November. So it'll be, it's still going to be crazy, but hopefully it'll be better. So to start things off, hello and thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. I see Charlie, Anthony, Andrew, Zach, everyone else. If you haven't spoken up, hello, welcome. We appreciate you. And thank you to our sponsors, Ortus Solutions, the makers of ColdBox, CommandBox, ForgeBox, TestBox, and all your favorite boxes out there. So a few ways to say thanks back to Ortus. You can like and subscribe to our videos on YouTube. You can help Ortus reach for the stars by star and forking our repos. We actually have a ForgeBox module that Eric put together for that. You can subscribe to our podcast on your podcast apps and leave us a review, hopefully a good one. You can sign up for a free or paid account on CFCasts. We're releasing new content regularly. We have a Box Life store. Christmas is coming. You can do some shopping. You can get a really cool Ortus shirt like the one I'm wearing. This is actually my Coach Gavin shirt. This is on the Box Life store. We got a bunch of other cool Ortus swag up there as well. And you can also buy Ortus's books, 102 ColdBox HMVC Quick Tips and Tricks on Gumroad. Yep. That's a lot.
And of course, the other way people are supporting us is through Patreon. So we've got some amazing Patreon supporters this week. We have 42 patrons providing 100% of the funding for this podcast, and we also have 32% of the funding of our ForgeBox. So all the AWS bills for ForgeBox, giving you guys a lot of great hosting for our package management. That's basically a third of the way there funding as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's get into the news and announcements.
Fun.
Yeah, so for those of you that can see my shirt, Hacktoberfest is over. So yesterday was the last day of Hacktoberfest for this month, or this year, sorry. So hopefully you guys got your pull requests in. If you did, you should be getting those completed, and therefore you can go and order your shirt. They should email you with that. Now, if you're a maintainer and you didn't get your pull requests in, it might have been too late. But if you see this today, November 1st, try and get your pull requests done as soon as you can for those people. And then, go order your shirt. They have a dark shirt and a light shirt. It's pretty cool designs, like most of them are. But, yeah, it's a pretty cool event. And, yeah, we're glad we can support some people, and hopefully some people got some shirts out of it. So, did anyone in the chat get theirs in? I got mine in.
I got mine in. Ordered my shirt, everything.
Cool. Okay. Well, moving on. So, we got new releases and updates. So,
his too. Nice.
Yep. So we had a CBWire version 2.1.0 released. So that was released there by Grant. So he's got some changes. He said mostly bug fixes and also ability to create your UI templates directly within your CBWire component using the onRender method now. So they've been making some pretty good changes in there. It's good to see. And so if you guys are using CBWire, go check out the latest updates there, and Daniel's posting them in the chat as we go. So,
I'm sorry. You missed like a few weeks. You forget what you're doing.
No, you're on time. You're good. So, and then next up, we have a reminder of what we missed last week, right?
Yeah, so in case you missed it, MasaCMS version 7.3.9 was released. It fixed some admin issues, replaced Orange with We Are North, and updated a file browser issue. So go check that out. If you don't know what Masa is, that's the fork of what used to be Mura. They made it still open source. So yeah, go check them out.
Yep, and the cool thing is that they actually have quite a lot of other discussions in there too. So if you see the discussion links, which are in the show notes, I'll try and copy them real quick. They got some other things about previous versions and upcoming versions, and so lots of cool stuff going on there. So we're trying to keep up with their stuff more, so we'll get more data out to you as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. More apps in ColdFusion, the better. I mean, obviously, Ortus has Content Box, which is an awesome CMS, but Masa's out there. It's an awesome CMS. We've got some other ones out there as well. So yeah, lots to choose from, and that's a good thing for the community.
Yep, for sure.
Keep it up, guys.
Okay, so next up, we also remind you that the Image Extension 2.0 beta for Lucee is out, and so you can check that out. That'll be bundled with the Lucee 6, but also works with the 5.3 line, and they did some updates there. The big thing is really they're supporting the HEIC from Apple Images, so you can get better images support there. So, just in case you missed that. But next up, we have our webinars. We got lots of webinar stuff in use coming up. So you want to tell us
yeah.
Actually, hold on.
This was last Friday.
Yeah, hold on a
That's
second.
okay. I'll talk about it.
No, we had a link. It was meant to be in case you missed it, and there's a recording posted to it. So.
Oh, I'll let you look for that while I talk about it. So last Friday was the CFHawaii user group. It was Mark Takata doing a presentation on ColdFusion Builder for VS Code. So we had that. He came on, talked about really it's a ton of content to try and squeeze into like a little over an hour. And I'm sure he wished he had a lot more time, but he did a really great job of just giving the overview, saying what it is, what it's doing, all sorts of cool stuff with that. Gavin's going to be posting the link to that recording.
Yep.
And you can check that out.
I started watching some of that this morning because I missed it the other day.
Yeah, and I actually remembered for once that, the tune in, and that was good. Okay, and then starting as a new initiative, starting in November and hopefully every month thereafter, the first Friday of the month, we're going to start having Ortus Office Hours. So this is a new initiative where some Ortusians will be on a Zoom call and answer whatever questions people have. We're going to try to start this first one a little less structured, see how things develop, develop. And for this first one, we've got Grant, Gavin, and myself scheduled. So the idea is if you're an Ortus customer, enthusiast, fan, really whoever, it's a free event, obviously, for everybody. If you want to come in, if you have some questions about whatever you want, preferably like Ortus products, but general web development is fine, or even, meaning of life. That's okay. We're good. Just we want to be able to have this way to reach out and interact with people. So this first one is going to be November 4th at 11 a.m. Chicago time, or CDT time, sorry. First Friday of the month. And we're going to go from there. And I think, Gavin, you posted the registration link. So thank you for doing that.
Yep, no problem. And we're actually working on getting something out there, and I'm just getting the links for this too, so it's not even in the show notes, but we're creating an Ortus calendar through Google. So we've got a link here that you can just basically look for it. We're probably going to embed this somewhere, but this calendar lets you see the events. As we put them out, we're going to put them on the calendar, and you can actually make it so you can actually just add this to your calendar itself inside your Google Calendar. And so I'm going to share that link here as well. So that's the embeddable link. The next one here is the other one, and so that way in your calendar you'll just see those events. You can turn them on and off if you want to, So
I'm going to add that to my calendar.
So that's the integration one. This is the the other piece. So this is, show in your calendar. And the cool thing is you don't need to add it to your calendar or anything else. It's just there if you want to, see it, remind yourself that it's there, etc. So anyway, so there's a couple of items we're doing because we started to have trouble keeping track of everything, right? Especially when we get to conference season. So, but yeah, after that we have the Ortus Software Craftsmanship Book Club, which is a Patreon only. But we're going to be doing that Friday, November 11th. And after a bit of discussion, we're actually changing the time for this one to 2 p.m. Central or 12 Pacific, and that way we can actually capture a bigger range of people. So those in Australia, New Zealand, all the way through to late night Central European time. So the 2 p.m. Central for the Software Craftsmanship Book Club, and that's because I've got quite a lot of people talking to me in those places. So we're trying to get the Patreon book club set up there. But we're going to be looking at Clean Code, the Handbook of Agile Software Craftsmanship by Robert Martin or Uncle Bob. So we're going to be monthly on this on Zoom, and we'll use the Ortus community forum for Patreon to discuss the book. So if we share the link and you can't get into it because you're not a Patreon, then sign up to become a Patreon, and you can do that. And then we'll also be rewriting the code from Java to CFML as we proceed through the book. So that'll be up on my GitHub, which will be available. So you'll see stuff as we get through that too. So we're hoping that we're basically wanting to sit up there and just make it a more user-friendly resource for all those developers that are reading that book. So okay.
Let me post links to the book. So if you want to get the book that Gavin's talking about, we're going to go ahead and paste that there and get it from Amazon. Or if you don't like to read, you just like to listen, we've got an Audible link as well.
And the Audible book is really cool. It's not too long because a lot of it is code, but they give you the PDF of the code that you need to review. And so they do talk about the code, they walk through it, and then you have the PDF that you can download through Audible. So it's kind of cool. I listened to it on the plane with Scott. Really liked it, so excited for that. So that's November the 11th. That'll be the second Friday of the month we'll do our book clubs. And then third Friday of the month is our webinars. And so Daniel Garcia is going to be doing API testing with Postman. So you're going to be working with the REST template. Is that the idea? Is a simple one that everybody can get to and look at, and then you get some testing set up there and show them how to get the JWT into it and working. And I think this is going to be a great little workshop, because obviously you've done this talk at CF Summit, you've done it at that conference, obviously you know the stuff, people have seen it, but seeing someone use it, it's different. So I'm really excited to have you do that one. I think that'll be a big one.
Yeah, it'll be the REST HMVC template. I use that for all my projects when I start working on APIs. So use that as a starting point. We'll do some basic CB security. It actually comes with it, some basic CB security with that. And we will, oops. Do you seeing that, Gavin?
Yeah, someone's trying to post interesting things. Yeah, well, Charlie's jumped on it too. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Spammers.
Yep.
So as you can kind of see, well, go ahead. So that'll be that day.
Yep.
And so as you can kind of see, what we're trying to do here is more opportunities to reach out to the community. So obviously the office hours and the webinars are free for everybody. But then we also want to, we love our Patreons, and we want to have some nice, cool Patreon events. And so the book club's a new Patreon only thing that we're doing. And then we're not doing it this month because of Thanksgiving, but other months we will be doing Koding with the Kiwi. We've been doing that for the last few months.
Yep, exactly. So
you want to talk about what that is, Gavin?
Yeah, I mean, basically it's like a live session. We jump in there and get a few people from the community. I see some people in here like Adam Cameron. We had Vil de Bruin on there. We had yourself and Sam Knowlton. Just different people from the community talking about different things that they're more well known with. Everyone's got their area of expertise. And so it's just an opportunity to sort of meet and share ideas with different members of the community. And it's a Patreon group. So we have a nice open Zoom room where everyone can jump on and ask questions. And it's very, very group feel. And so it's much like a little workshop, but we're just hacking away on an idea. And, it's just really nice. And it's really good to sort of have that back and forth. And, that's the thing is we don't want to just talk at you. We want to talk with you for a lot of this stuff because, as a community, we want to come up with some conventions and best practices that we all can follow and that we all can improve from and we all benefit. So
very collaborative. You should get, Gavin, who's awesome that you should get?
Who?
Grant Copley.
I am planning on it. So, yeah, me and Grant have been talking about doing a CBWire version of the little Quasar app. So we built a little API for it, and then we sort of built it out in Quasar, which is the Vue.js framework. And it'd be really cool to have, you know, basically one of those setups where you can compare Vue.js code versus CBWire. So if you want to keep everything ColdFusion, do CBWire. You can see how it's done. And for me, I haven't done very much of it, so I'll be trying to fuddle my way through it, and I'll have Grant on my shoulder helping me, pair programming style, and you guys can all laugh and heckle from the crowd. So that'll be good.
Oh, and I saw Adam appreciates the flag, but he wants to know why I'm wearing Gavin's clothes. I am not wearing Gavin's clothes. Gavin's clothes would not fit me because I need bigger. But this is, if you weren't here at the top of the hour, this is the official Ortus Coach Gavin t-shirt. Gavin's got his own t-shirt line, or his own t-shirt on the Ortus Box Life store. If you like this shirt, you can get it as well and show your support and love for Coach Gavin. Yep. Oh, you want me to? I'll look up the Box Life store and we can post that link. Great idea, Scott. Gavin's much too modest to promote himself, but the rest of us, not so much. We love Gavin.
Yeah, that's what they say sometimes. And part of the coach thing is, getting on to them about different things we're doing and stuff. So it's I like to motivate and try and keep on top of people, and try to, some accountability and stuff. So that's one of the nicknames. So I'll take it. But next up, we actually have something from Charlie. So in case you guys missed it, it was a big episode last week on the Online CFML Meetup, or Online ColdFusion Meetup. Charlie had 300th episode, a look back in a new direction with Charlie Arehart. So it was kind of cool. He went back and it really showed us some stats of, the different number of sessions per year and the different topics and the different speakers. And, it's good to kind of see a good mix. There's some old names on there I haven't seen for a while. And, it's kind of cool to see. And, they kind of discussed some possible trends there and everything. But at the end of it, Charlie basically talked about a new direction and how he's going to change things up, and we've been talking about this for a little bit, and he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, you should, Charlie. Like, you've got tons of stuff to share. Why not share it? So Charlie's going to be taking a more prominent step with the meetup, and he's obviously been running it for years, and we just haven't had the number of speakers we used to have on it, and that's because people are busy and everything else. And I think they mentioned it's possibly because of social media and all these training programs. There's way more places to get video, and there's way more places to talk to people, and so the online meetups just hasn't been as popular. But Charlie's going to take over and do more sessions, which I think everyone's going to love. And then, obviously, I've been doing a lot lately, and I want to try and keep that up too. So, we'll talk to Charlie about maybe having a schedule too, so we can sort of do, once a month or something. I'll try and jump on there and do something, maybe a series or whatnot. I know a lot of people been, asking for more API stuff, more testing stuff, and there's a lot of really modern things. If you watch the video, you'd be surprised at the number of sessions about certain modern things. And so it was a really good session to look and see the sort of the trends and everything. And of course, congratulate Charlie for doing such a great job since he took over. So, and then if you guys do want to speak, he's always happy to have presentations. And he said there's like 50 times they had 2 sessions on the same day, even in the past. So it's kind of crazy, but check out the recording. It was a really good session to watch. And so thanks again, Charlie, for all you do there. And I think a lot of people will be watching Charlie, so let's keep him going.
Absolutely. And speaking of good sessions, and the October webinar was you, Gavin. Step up your testing with Gavin Pickin. You went through several test box things. You showed off a new test box utils library that you made. Yeah. I saw a demo of it in Roadbox, and it was really cool. A lot of very useful helpers when you're doing your testing. Yep, exactly.
Scott and I actually worked on that together, and just keep building on top of it, and it was really cool to show off. Scott helped with that, and other people are helping with ideas, and so we're actually going to put up some issues on that soon. And my next coding with the Kiwi might be that one, because it might be, Christmas time. We probably don't want to harass Grant, so we might start his series in the new year. But I'd like to get on there and show everybody how we built it, how to use it, and then also how to add more stuff into it, add more helpers and everything. And I actually had a good conversation with Adam Cameron right after the podcast, which I should have recorded, because the conversation with him was a really good one too.
Evidence.
Well, yeah, evidence as well. But no, it was actually really good, conversation. I'm like, man, this could have been a Coding with the Kiwi, because we went through trying some stuff, talking some stuff through, and just like really high level CFML stuff that I think everybody could learn from. I've learned from my webinars, when they're done and you talk to someone afterwards, record that separately, and that could be its own content, because it's great stuff. I had a great convo with Kai one time and Phil another time. So anyway, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. We already covered the CFHawaii one, so next up, we actually had one from a few weeks ago, but I wanted just to share it real quick. We have the recording from Ray Camden's CFUG Tech Talk from the India Tech Group, and that was the Document Services API and you. And so we got the link, so we're still sharing it, although we've already reminded you a couple times about that. So yeah. And then the next big thing coming up is CF Summit Online. So you're like, wait a minute, we just had CF Summit. What's this? Well, due to some legislation, I guess, some new rules in Vegas, basically recording the sessions or streaming those sessions at CF Summit was just cost prohibitive, ridiculously cost prohibitive. So Adobe was not able to record those sessions. So they started announcing today that the ColdFusion Summit Online will begin soon, where they'll be having the presenters offer their sessions again from CF Summit last month. They'll be live streamed and recorded, since they couldn't do that in Vegas. And I think Charlie's one of the first ones up, so we should be seeing those pretty soon. And there's a blog post there where Charlie spelled it out. And then keep an eye on Twitter, because I started to see things flying out of there. So that's really cool, because there was a lot of good sessions there. So
there were. I was actually too bad they couldn't record mine. That's probably one of my best sessions ever. I'm usually pretty critical of myself, but like for 45 minutes, I called lightning in a bottle. It was the best I've ever done. And
that's because I was there front row watching.
You were there. Other people were there.
Yeah, you had the whole room.
Good.
Yep, you were in the big room, and you had it packed, and everybody was into it. You had your little salesperson persona on, and you were doing the Oprah, like, you get a framework, you get a framework.
I was able to sell you this pen. It was great. I don't know if I could ever do that again, but
well, we'll have to see live in a few weeks, maybe.
Fun while it lasted.
Yep. And so we also have the Adobe workshops and webinars coming up, right? And there was a couple of changes to that we noticed last week live on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So we've got the different Adobe ColdFusion workshops. We've got one on Wednesday, November 23rd. It's a new date and a new name. The Road to Fortuna with Mark Takata. This is Fortuna, I believe, is the code name for the next version of ColdFusion.
Yep.
Presumably ColdFusion 2023. I don't want to speak out of turn, but you got that. And then Thursday, December 22nd, building native mobile applications with Adobe CF and Monaco IO, again with Mark Takata. Yep. And so we got a couple of great ones coming up from Mark. They're keeping him busy, which is great. He's doing a great job as our evangelist. I say our evangelist because we're the community, but he's doing a great job as the evangelist, and we appreciate what he does.
Yep, for sure. There's a lot of good stuff going on. I mean, we need more people to step up and do the same thing, and we can get things flowing again. But it's good to see. And they always pump up their publicity before the release, and they said it's the first half of next year, so I'm wondering when they'll actually drop it. Which means if it's next year, it might be it might be something where the public beta after the private beta, like maybe the alpha is going to be coming out close towards the end of the year for those who are allowed to take it, and then they'll do the public beta after that. So anyways,
Charlie mentioned they can't use a code word in the title, which makes sense because just in case it doesn't come out in 2023 for whatever crazy reason, then they're not looking silly. It's all Fortuna. It's not the name until it's the name. So
yep, exactly.
But
so
I would expect 2023.
Yep, that's what they're aiming for. We'll see what happens. Next up, CFCast update. So CFCast is an online video tutorial library, and we have a lot of great content, some free, some paid, and you can subscribe at cfcast.com. Recently, we just released the Ortus Webinar, so if you missed my webinar, the Step Up Your Testing webinar, that's available there up on CFCast, and that is available for free. So as long as you have a login, you can get in there free of charge and watch that. We have all the videos from ITB up there, but only for ITB ticket holders, but we're getting close. We will release them in December for all those subscribers that have a paid account. We also did release the ForgeBox module of the week and the VS Code hidden tip and trick of the week this week. So yeah, a lot of good content. And then I have started, working on my boxifying and third-party library. Eric is working on his ColdBox Elixir stuff. We have more ForgeBox and VS Code stuff coming your way too. And then Daniel's going to be working on his Getting Started with Content Box series here soon as well. That's on the books, so we'll get that one out here, as we go. We're building up more and more content. So
that might be, honestly, it might be December before I really get on that.
Yeah.
I got some stuff going on, Gavin.
Yeah.
During my off hours.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're busy with a lot of things, but hopefully my series will be coming out here through November and December. We got all the ITB videos coming out in December, and then I know Eric's working on the ColdBox Elixir. So if you get yours ready for next year, early January, that'll probably be good timing too. So that way we've got lots of content flowing. But yeah, lots of great stuff there. Check out the webinar. Let me know. I'd like to see what people think about that, and hopefully that session inspires some people to improve their testing and maybe contribute to that library, because that way we all win. That's kind of the goal.
Oh yeah, especially if we just copy paste code, Gavin.
Well, it's not even that. Like, just ForgeBox install and then just put 2 lines in your application CFC and you've got 1 million matches. Well, not 1 million yet, but hopefully one day 1 million matches.
No, I know, but the copy paste, the actual.
Oh, the match
themselves, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you've got a custom matcher, you can just copy paste them into the framework for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very convenient. I feel like every time I start a new project, well, early on, Eric was like, "You should use this one and this one and this one."
Yep.
And so every project, I've got Eric's custom matchers.
And that's the thing. We got these custom matches. We got these little database transaction wrappers that wrap every transaction, so you can do an automatic database rollback and stuff. There's all these little things we do, and start copying stuff around. It's like that little, once, yeah, okay, twice, yeah, and then 3 times to refactor. So after 12, I'm like, okay, I really got to do it. So,
well, it was funny. I was starting a project a while ago, and I went to go do my testing. I'm like, wait, why is this working? Oh, I got to copy this stuff over from that project. That's why. I just this should be part of the core. Yeah. I know why it's not, but they're very, very handy.
Yeah, and we could put this in the core, but it's one of those things. I can set it as a library, and then we can migrate more and more to the core. That makes sense, so. But yeah. Okay, so next up, we have our conferences. Conferences and training. So Deploy from DigitalOcean is going to be happening November 15th and 16th. And so I might share my screen for those watching. So Deploy. Oh, that's right. I've got my plugin installed, so the add to calendar stuff keeps messing up here. I should turn that off next time. I keep forgetting. But yeah, so it's register. It's free. It's 2 days. All about deploying in DigitalOcean. Lots of great stuff.
It's free. I'll take 2.
Yep. It's a cool conference, and DigitalOcean's a great way to get started with the cloud stuff. They've got great offerings. They've got Spaces, which is S3 compatible, but you don't have to worry about all the complexity of the permissions and everything of AWS. So
that'll be a
gateway cloud.
That'll be a really cool Coding with the Kiwi someday, doing like a little intro to DigitalOcean.
Yeah, there's so much we can do. Yep. And then up next, we finally have more information, and I'll share my screen for those who can read Spanish, because Into the Box, the TAM is coming your way. So I guess I can probably push the translate here. We'll go English. So Into the Box, December 7th, 2022, Web Development Conference. And then if we scroll down, you'll see that we got some sessions in here. So we got some sessions from Edgardo, Esme, John Clausen, Luis Mahano, and then they've got some workshops as well. So HMVC for Dummies, some cross-platform development with Quasar and Vue.js, and then introduction to Content Box headless content. So action-packed day, lots of stuff. They might have a few more sessions still, but basically 8 a.m. to 5. And then it's going to be at is it the Hyatt, I think it was, I found?
The Marriott. Wait, no. Hyatt Centric. Yep.
The Hyatt Centric. So yeah, if you go and reserve your quote, which the translations aren't the best sometimes, but you can see they've got ticket pricing from $9 US to $29 US, and so you can find out more information about it there. So
I'm hoping to go to that one of these years.
Yep. I know that they're always trying to get more and more people from the team down, and you've been learning your Spanish. You should be a shoo-in for that.
I have been. We'll see.
But it's kind of funny because like John's been practicing his Spanish and he went down there a couple times, and he's like they all want to practice their English on him, so he tries to speak Spanish to them and they speak English to him. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, a lot of people there don't know as much about ColdFusion. They don't have the history, so they don't have that negative connotation that comes with ColdFusion. So it's really refreshing, and we're excited about what we can do down there. And Ortus is doing a lot in El Salvador. They're training kids in the orphanages now. There's an orphanage we support as part of Ortus, and so they're actually got a computer lab set up, and they're starting to train them on CFML. It's pretty cool.
That should be one of our webinars too. Just, I don't know if people really realize all the cool things that, we do out there to help people. And that might be Gavin, we'll talk about that. Maybe the December webinar. We just talk about all, for the holiday season and
Yep.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. I think just more. I'm just thinking about having just a lunch with Gavin thing where everyone can anyone from the community come hang out have lunch on a Friday and just chit chat about whatever. And if it turns into something cool, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I really enjoy those just off the cuff conversations with people from the community, and I think that's kind of fun. So I might do something like that just on those off days. And part of me changing my time zones means that on the days I'm not doing those special sessions, I might just do a lunch with me, or I don't know. We're trying it out. We'll see what works. If no one's coming to the different time, we might put it back, because I like having them all at the same time. But there's a couple of people in Australia and New Zealand that I've been working with a lot that they don't want to get up at 4 a.m. and I don't blame them. Getting up for cricket or golf at 4 a.m. is one thing, but for me, no. So, what else do we have?
Okay, Vue.js Amsterdam 2023, February 9th and 10th. In Amsterdam. It's the Vue.js conference. Call for papers is opened. So it's blind tickets. I don't know what that means.
So blind means that you're buying your ticket before anything is being announced. No speakers, no sessions, no workshops. So you're completely blind. And I think that's a better way of super early bird. So it's called a blind ticket. And then once they actually do have the tickets, the sessions announced and everything, then it's an early bird. But the blind is because you really don't know what's going to be there. You're just on blind luck.
I've never heard of that before. Is that like an industry term, or is that just?
I've heard it a couple times, but I really like it, and I think we're going to start adopting it for Into the Box, because we do blind tickets too, but we call them super early birds or something. So
super duper early birds for May.
Yep. I mean, Dev Nexus, which you can talk about next, kind of has the super early bird stuff too, because
they do. But in Atlanta, April 4th through 6th, 2023, Dev Nexus coming back again. Workshops be on Java, Java security, software design, Agile, DevOps, Kubernetes, microservices, Spring, etc. You can sign up now and choose a workshop later on. Historically, Luis and Brad have presented at this conference. I don't know if they're going to be yet. I think this call paper is still open for another couple weeks. So,
yep. So they better get their stuff in.
Again.
Yep.
They said it's a lot of fun. They meet a lot of cool people, and
And Adobe's been there before. Fusion Reactor's been there. There's a lot of good groups there. So DevNext is sounds like a lot of fun. I'm hoping to go there, but there's so many other good conferences coming up this way, and we're moving. I should probably wait till I get to it, but conferences are moving around a bit. So and plus there's some other ones like Vue.js Live is coming out too. So Vue.js Live is going to be in London, so you could do in London or you can do online. So it's kind of nice to have that option. And then one thing I like about it is that they have the early birds, but they also have all the recordings from previous years. And so that's something I need to start doing more. I'm going to start doing a bit, and I'll get up 2 hours early and do some work stuff before work, but do some work related, but not actual work. Because all the times I get on and start coding for work stuff, and I'm like, I should have watched the video, or should have done this, or, I listen to my podcast, but I want to actually get more code. So I want to get more videos under my belt. So, but yeah, Vue.js Live looks really cool. And again, it's in London or I'm online. But yeah, go check out all the videos. It's great to have those resources out there. And that's the thing, Charlie. Everyone keeps putting their videos online. So before that, you couldn't do that. When you went to a conference, they didn't record it. You had to do it on Charlie's to make it live forever. But now everyone records them. It makes it
harder. You're still doing Charlie's.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's, if we have Into the Box videos, people aren't going to repeat them. But before, in the old days at CF Objective, you'd have to go online to do it. So you do it later to get the recording because they didn't record it in the sessions.
True, but I kind of figure you do your session in person and then you get all the great feedback about it. You might do Charlie's and improve your session with all the great feedback you got.
That's what I like to do, and I've done it a few times in the past. I know Brad's done it too, and some of the other speakers that present a lot, but it's just time. A lot of people, it's just time. But I think it's worth it. I think it's a really good market, and if you want to reach more people, ColdFusion Online CF Meetup has 3,200 people in there. And it's people that you don't see at conferences. It's people that don't travel for those things. So I think it's a way to reach people you don't normally reach, and that's part of the reason I want to do it, because I want to get my word out to more people. There's great stuff that Ortus does that some of these people will never see unless I'm on the online ColdFusion Meetup, the Charlie Show. Just teasing, Charlie's not. I know he says I don't want to make it the Charlie Show, but I think people will be okay with that too. But
I got it. I'm sorry, Charlie. I got to get my stuff to you at some point, and also go on there.
Yep, we all need to. It's okay. I think everyone needs to just step up and do some. If everyone did one a year, it would make a big deal. Like we've got 30 speakers at Into the Box. We got 20, 30 speakers, different ones at CF Summit. We could just do one a year from each speaker, and we would have plenty of great content. And it's easily available.
Yeah, we had talked about this for Ortus as well, but I would love to see some sessions. Charlie, you can ask find some of these people like, I'm so and so and this is how I work, and just how do they work, how do they do what they do, and maybe they got awesome tips and tricks that you might be like, wow, that's a great idea, I should do that.
Yep, exactly. That's the thing. Charlie's just wanting people to speak. He's been, as he puts it, he's been pushing rope. But to keep meetup.com running, he's paying for that. It's free for people to speak. It's free for everyone to attend. It's, Charlie's paying for it as a service to the community, which is pretty cool. But again, it's just great to have all that content out there. So I think the more people that speak, the better it'll be. And it's good to see that the numbers of presentations are rising. So you'll see that in the 300th episode. But back to the other conferences, sorry, sidetracked. Into the Box 2023 is coming up, so we will be doing the call for speakers starting this week. We actually have a meeting tomorrow morning, I believe, about getting the form up, so we'll get this call for speaker form out there for you. May 17th, 18th, 19th, it's all but done and signed. Just contract negotiations always takes a bit of time, but
it's not official until it's signed on the dotted line.
Yep, 17th, 18th, 19th. So for Into the Box 2023, it's our 10th edition. We're going to make it special. We're going to do some fun stuff with the Happy Box. It's not just going to be a dinner and music and a hangout. We're going to add the Box Wars game show. We're going to have some hackathons. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. So we're going to make it into more of an evening event. Bring your board games. We can do some board games like CF Objectives, Old Birds of a Feather. So we can play some. Yeah. I played a cool game this weekend called Blood on the Clock Tower. That's one of the Kickstarter games. It was pretty fun. So maybe we could bust out a version of that or something. If you guys have ever played Mafia, it's just like Mafia, but way better.
So, I still think we ought to do an Ortus jam session, but the problem is getting people to bring their instruments with them is a little bit of a hassle. But
I don't know. We probably make it happen. There's plenty of people that play music in the group, and it'd be kind of fun. So, but we could do that too. After the mariachi, we could have the CFML community band play, and then some hackathon. I want to do some Raspberry Pi craziness or something, or build some stuff, win some prizes. But so Into the Box 10th edition is gonna be great. It was great this year. It's only gonna get better.
Lots of ideas. If you got ideas, throw them our way, and we'll see. And maybe Gavin, maybe if we do jam, we'll get you a tambourine or something.
Oh, maybe. Hey, I got electric guitars and stuff. I just don't know how to play them yet. But I got an app for that now. I got an app for piano, trumpet, all that stuff. All the kids are learning their stuff, so maybe I'll pick some stuff up too. But I used to
Charlie sings.
Yeah, Charlie sings. I used to be pretty awesome on the drums on Rock Band back in the day. So I could rock out. But,
okay, let's keep going. This is how we go over our hour.
Yep. So CF Camp, no CF Camp for 2022. They're trying for some of 2023, and I heard rumors they're still trying. So we'll get you some news as soon as we have something official there. I know that they're looking at it, but hopefully if it is summer 2023, then more people can go. I know that I'll be able to go because my wife is on vacation. She's a teacher, so she'll have time, and we can finally make it to Italy, where her family's from. So I'm excited. Hopefully they can make that work. So pencil in June, July. It's worth it. So CF Camp is going to be awesome. And then more conferences if you need more. Comps.tech has plenty. Okay, wow, we had a lot of stuff there, and it's not even conference season. But we have tons of blogs, tweets, and videos of the week, but this was almost the Charlie show right here, because Charlie and Ben have been busy, so the Ben show and the Charlie show. So you do the Charlie show, I'll do the Ben show.
Sounds good. So the first one from Charlie from the ColdFusion portal, you can join Adobe for a ColdFusion Summit Online, where they're asking different presenters to represent what they did at Summit in Vegas. So we're going to get the link out there. I think, Charlie, you're probably the first one, I thought. Maybe, if not the first one of the first ones. But the idea is we're going to get people that presented do their same presentations online. They have a lot of great content. I'm looking forward to it. Presumably, Gavin, you and I will also be contacted, and we'll do ours online as well. We had fun, and hopefully you will enjoy it as well.
Yep, for sure. Lots of good stuff there. A lot of good content at the conference, and it's good because I couldn't see all of it. We're doing some booth stuff too. We had a lot of great people at the booth, so we didn't get to see all the sessions we wanted to see. But next up, we have one from Ben Adele. He actually had a couple this morning. He's been busy today. And so if we look at this one here, so this one is preventing unbounded full table scans in his ColdFusion data access layer. So Ben always talks about his DAO, so he separated that out, which is a good design property, which we'll talk about in the Clean Code Book Club. So come check that out. So basically, he wants to make sure that he doesn't ever do full table scans, because if anybody knows, full table scans is bad. So basically, this is a structure of a database table uses Envision, and he's looking at something here. But one of the things he does, he tries to take a programmatic approach, to look at some of these things and just see if a full table scan would happen or not. And if you guys use explain queries and stuff, you can sort of see some of that. But what he's doing here is he's actually looking to see if certain things exist, certain keys exist or not. And the interesting thing is he goes through and just uses these snapshots here. And there was a part, I had to read it quickly before the show. But basically, the throw an error to prevent any full table scans. And so basically, or deletes in this case. So basically, he has something which just checks to make sure that one of the keys is present. So if none of the keys or none of the indexes are present, which means that you're not going to be able to do like a non-full table scan, he basically handles it with, an error or whatnot. And so he's got some stuff in there that, and I like his little code here too. He puts a debug in, so when you actually see query in the logs, you can see where it came from. But basically, he has a special little thing in there just to make sure that one of your fields are in there. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, and yes, he does use tag islands. But yeah, so it was it's one of those things where it's kind of a smart way, because full table scans can just ruin your database. And so if you have optional parameters you're passing through and stuff, you want to check to make sure you have at least one of them, or you're going to run into some fun. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but again, I was trying to remember what was the point there at the bottom that I was trying to find to show you guys. So
we can all share in Adam's incredulity. What is a tag island, Gavin?
Oh, a tag island? So in Lucee, if you're inside script, you can put, I think it's 3, let me double check again, 3 little backticks like you do normal code in, was it like VS Code and Markdown and stuff. So if he's in a tag, or he's in script here. So in script, you put these little 3 backticks, and then inside of that, you can put tags. And then
I don't think I knew that.
And inside a script, you can put a CF script tag inside of this, and then put another tag island when you put tags inside a script. And apparently, you can go infinitely, it like recurses like crazy. But it's one of those things that Lucee allows you to do. So if you're writing everything in script, but you still like the query tag because you don't like query execute, which I don't know. Anyway, if you don't like that, you can use a tag island, and that's what Ben's doing. So
interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, it's kind of nice for a couple things, but now script syntax pretty good. Things like QB and quick and whatever means, I wouldn't have to worry about that. But it is what it is.
Well, thank you for pointing that out, Adam. This is a cool feature that I'm gonna start using every day now. Thanks, Adam.
And I think Charlie just shared the blog post
sarcasm.
About that. Yeah.
Being sarcastic. I don't want a blog post from Adam on me.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, Charlie's like, I don't think, I'm not clear if Adobe will ever adopt it. I'm like, I'll be surprised if they did, for sure, but it's okay.
I'm going to hide that comment from Adam because it's not kind.
So
I love you too, Adam.
there's another one from Ben about CF cookies expires. You can use the create time span in ColdFusion. So he's been working with cookies, and he's got a couple of others we'll talk about later. Basically, the CF cookie tag accepts a number of days and it expires, and then he sees that, I think, time spans. So he wants to see if he can create a time span and basically use it in the cookies expires. And it turns out you can. And so you have a now, you've got one, or you got to create time span or create time span in minutes. And guess what would be really great for this? CF interval, a tag a little library me and Scott created a little while ago. So you could actually do this in a much easier, more friendly way. Well, actually, I don't know if we'd convert it to a time span in ColdFusion or not, but anyways, because I think this works because a time span creates something based on 1 being a day. So if you do 1.5, that's like 12 hours, 1 day and 12 hours. So I think it only works probably because it's a number of days, and time spans create a number of days. So I'm thinking that's why it works, but I wonder if it actually takes a real time span for real reasons, or if it just converts it to that percentage, and that's why it works. But anyway, you can use time spans in your cookies, which might be kind of nice, especially if you want to expire it in like 60 seconds or something silly.
Interesting.
So what's up next?
Back to the Charlie show. There's a post about solving the failed signature verification when downloading CF updates while using Java 11.0.17 or later. So it talks about if you're on that and you try to update, you might get some errors. Error occurred while installing the update, failed signature verification. So if you go to that post, and really it links over to his other post, which I'll put in here as well, kind of talks about you got some workarounds. If you want to get around it, you could either update it so that Java does not treat the SHA-1 signatures inappropriate, or just switch back to an earlier version of Java, do all your updates and switch it back, or just manually put in the jar and upgrade that way. So you've got some options. Presumably Adobe's working on a fix for it, but if you get this issue and you are stuck, Charlie's got your back like always.
Yep, for sure. And he says the issue is on the download of the update from within the CF admin. So
I linked to Charlie's blog post there as well. So
yeah, I think we have that in the list as well, so we'll be double posting, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep, next up we have another one from Ben. So this is looking at how cookies and domains interact with ColdFusion. And so basically he was looking about leading dots in his previous post, and so now he talks about how cookies work. Basically, I don't know if you've ever messed with cookies, but they're kind of annoying. They're weird. And you got to do some interesting things. So he works through it, looking at different formats here for subdomains and everything else. And so he works through some examples. And this stuff it always bites me. I always have to basically do something like this when I'm doing it to remember how everything works. So based on the response, he says that, basically any domain that is currently represented in the URL. So a dot is because it's a suffix of b dot, but d dot does not work because it's not represented in there. So this is based on a c dot b dot a domain. So in other words, any child will work, but any parent would work, but no child. So you can't be more specific. You can only get less specific. So that's why a lot of people just do like a.com. That way every subdomain works and all the cookies can be shared between everything. So. But yeah,
it's a nice way of, if you got several subdomains and want to have the same cookies shared across the subdomains, posting it to the parent domain is also a neat little way of doing that.
Yep, exactly. But you can be more specific with this as long as they're, basically a higher or lower domain. I guess, what do you call that? I don't know. I've forgotten the name subdomains.
Subdomain.
Yeah.
Parent domain. Top level domain versus subdomain.
Yeah, something like that. It's a Tuesday. My brain's all worded out.
Well, this will get you excited, Gavin. Ooh. So a post from yesterday from Charlie, special offer to upgrade to ColdFusion 2021 from 2016 or earlier, saving thousands of dollars. Basically, if you're running CF 2016 or earlier, you've got a chance to get some nice savings from Integral, the people that make Fusion Reactor, some of our favorite tools. We're going to go ahead and post the link where Charlie goes into it and what you can do to save.
So basically, those ColdFusion 9 licenses that everybody has suddenly got more valuable.
True, that's right. It's
Yeah.
like, how much can you sell that on eBay, get the legit license, and then upgrade?
The funny thing is, we were migrating some stuff from one server to another, and we needed an old CF9 for this client a few years back, and people were charging the same as they were for the 2021 version for standard because everybody
really?
wanted the old versions, and they're like harder to get, and you can get one off Adobe if you really need an old one, but still, it was pretty funny that it. Yeah, I was like, I'd pay $100 for it or 200, but I'm not gonna pay $1,000 or $2,000 for a license. Sorry, guys. So, but
man.
next up, we have one from James Moberg about an undocumented change to ColdFusion 2021, CFML head and CF content. So he's got a whole bunch of unit tests that he has created for Adobe. So basically, he's created all these unit tests to make sure that they don't have regressions because we can't get access to their tests, which they have 40,000 of them or something. But James started keeping track of his own, which I thought was pretty cool. So anyway, the CFHML head works definitely with CF content now. And so if you're having some issues, and we actually ran into some weird thing with CFHTTP the other day too, but that was a Lucee thing. But these changes, man, they can bite you pretty suddenly. So with version 5, he discovered that the head buffer is cleared whenever performing CF content. So the CF head itself, CFML head, seems to disappear when you do that, which I guess that makes sense. If you're doing CF content, you wouldn't want the head stuff to be re-injected into it. I don't know, but I mean, if it's different, that's different. So basically, the previous versions can basically retain the header buffer, and then at the end it would spit it out. But CF 2021, it seems to clear it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're using that, or if you run into an issue, that might be the explanation for it. So as usual, James, really thorough. Thanks again, James, for that. So it was someone other than Ben and Charlie, but we're back to Ben now. So one more blog post, and this is I think the first one in his cookie rant. So we'll call him the Cookie Monster this week. So leading dots on the HTTP cookie domains ignored. So he's been using cookies forever, but didn't realize that the dots were ignored, which I didn't think I realized that either. I always thought that if you had a dot, it meant that you could do subdomains too, but if you had local dot, it was just local. But obviously the last blog post he just walked through, that wasn't the case, right? So that's interesting.
I wonder if that's an engine specific thing, or if that's just a across the board ColdFusion thing.
Yeah, well,
does he say which version he's using? Interesting.
No domain is not equal to the full domain. Huh. Yeah, like I said, the cookie stuff, it always bites me. I always have to go and be pedantic. Okay.
Well, the good news is I'm looking at the page and there's no tag islands, so Adam won't be chuffed on this one.
Yep, so if you exclude the domain, then it's implicitly provided without the subdomain. So if you don't have a domain, it just takes the main domain without the subdomain. That's the default. That's what Mozilla says. Okay. Well, we've had our Cookie Monster lesson for the week. What's up next?
Okay, so I don't know if I used that word correctly. I said Adam won't be chuffed. Will be. I don't know. I shouldn't use slang if I don't know what that really means. So I'm going to move on. From Grant Copley, CBWire version 2.1 was released. This was last week. CBWire, go check it out. We've talked about this many times, the new version. And go check it out. We'll get the link out there. And hopefully he'll be on one of the Kiwi sessions one of these months, and you'll see some really cool things.
Yeah, I mean, I know that people don't like doing JavaScript inside of ColdFusion anymore, and there's so many cool JavaScript libraries, but I mean, the Livewire stuff that they're doing, and CBWire is, implementing the Livewire specifications, essentially. Having a CFC that has a data method and a computed property method, and then have the onRender, it's very much like the new Vue stuff, and if you use tag islands, then you're not doing JSX, so...
Man, maybe. I feel like Adam is the bear today, and we just keep poking him.
Yeah, it's okay. He's a friendly bear most of the time. He just sounds grumpy, but he's pretty cool. So even Tim on the Working Code podcast went to England and met with Adam and stuff, and he's like, man, he's like the nicest guy ever. He's like, how can he be a hater if he's this nice? But you know what? I've got to find another link before this show's over because there's some fun stuff I want to share. Because the Working Code podcast, which I should have made a news announcement, I'll have to do that properly, but they just had their 100th episode. And so for the 100th episode, they decided to do a Hot Ones episode. So they basically had all these hot peppers. So Sean Oden, who was at ITB, helped cook up some of these hot peppers, and Tim Cunningham who's a spice aficionado, ran the session. So they did ask me anything while they're eating hot sauce. And Benadell's a mild guy. Like he's so excited when he found out he could order like hot wings without any sauce. That was like one of the life-changing moments, and then he agreed to do the Hot Ones challenge, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. So they'll be releasing that on YouTube here pretty soon, but I watched it live and had a great time. So we will definitely share that when it comes out, but congratulations to them for 100 episodes.
Nice.
Okay, back to the Ben Show. So for this one, let's see. Sorry, lost my little window. I don't have enough windows.
Let's get paste the link.
Yep. So the database column for data update has no semantic meaning, nor should it. So this is talking about how they've got these. You got these columns. A lot of them are audit table columns, and we're sort of trying to improve our auditing conventions. We have some at Ortus under the coding conventions, but basically a lot of times we'll have these tables, and the table will have this updated at, and you use a timestamp or a now or whatever time it's updated. And if you create it, you can have the created one, which created at, which would just change the first time you do it. And so one of the things here is he wanted to basically say that this should be used for computer purposes only, not for human readable stuff. It should never be showed to the user, never be in the widget. And if you're using like a mementifier with quick, you should probably add that to the never show, because most times it makes no sense, because as he says here, it's like you don't have any meaning for it. Something was updated. What was updated? You don't know what was updated. What was it?
Or who updated it, or why.
Yeah, exactly. So it may have been updated really recently, but maybe it was just, some little job that ran and updated that it was updated, but it didn't actually change anything, So there's lots of things. It doesn't have any real meaning. You should probably add your own columns for specific things, or add a proper audit log if you want to show more detail. And I think in the comments, which is a great place to look, people say that sometimes we use it for an admin side, and so sometimes, like James was talking about that. I think that started a conversation on Twitter, though, about how the best way to do it is to have, certain fields and then audit logs, and I actually started an audit table conversation last week too about it, because it's nice to know what changed, when it changed, who changed it, if there was any reason for it, and then there's different ways to model that too. So that should be one of the Coding with the Kiwi, how to set up a good audit log system. So
that would be that'd be a pretty handy module, just to plug it in and say, have it auto just whatever.
Yep. I mean, I have a few
different ways.
Yeah. Well, no, it's one of those things though. It's like we've all created it. I mean, every one of us has created some type of audit log or note system. We've all done the same thing for so many different things. Like me and Scott were talking about this, advanced reports module, and we've all built reports. We've all built the ability to customize them. A lot of us built like scheduling, so if you customize it, you save it as special custom report. You could choose settings, so hey, email me this report every Monday or whatever, stuff like that. There's different things, and Adam's talking about an observer pattern and logbox handler. Yeah, I mean
maybe
I think that's a good part, but having specific structures, and there's just, we're reinventing the wheel so many times. Like, if as a community we can come together and create a couple of nice, like, basically design pattern based implementations of these, then we can reuse them. We don't need to reinvent the wheel as much as we do. And
2023.
I'm on a big kick for all of this stuff, and that's where my little coding sessions come in handy, because then I can talk to everybody. Like, if I can get Adam and Charlie and James Moberg and Kai and a few other people, like really experienced software developers, and anyone else who wants to come, get everyone's input.
Thanks, Kevin.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you just grab a bunch of like smart people that have got all different experiences and different, different apps and stuff. Like, there's some big lessons that can be learned, and we can put them together. But yeah, I mean, I already bug you all the time with stuff, and already harass other people in Ortus. But even then, I'm sure everybody else has their own stuff. But I don't know. I think more of that will really help too. You know, that's one thing with Laravel. Everyone loves Laravel, the framework, because they've got things for everything. Like, you know, it's like ColdBox, but ColdBox is missing certain things. That's why we keep adding more and more modules, and half of them we steal from Laravel because they're really good ideas, and they've thought them out and planned them out, and that's sort of the way they do it.
Yeah, speaking, I was pretty amused. I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was Googling something. I was on a site, and there was an error, and I saw the whoops error template. I'm like, oh, they use ColdBox. Oh, they don't. They use the Laravel. But because we modeled our whoops after theirs, it was just kind of funny to me.
Yep, exactly. So I think there's a lot of things we can learn. So,
all right, so rounding out the blogs, we'll finish up with the Charlie show from last week, an upcoming Adobe webinar on previewing of CF 2023, codename Fortuna, the date and title change. They announced some weeks ago 2 upcoming webinars on a preview, and
yep,
the session has changed.
Yeah, they switched the 2 sessions around and they changed the name. So instead of saying a preview of ColdFusion 2023, they said a road to Fortuna. So
yeah, so we had not kind of announced those earlier, but here's the article also reinforcing that.
Yep. Okay. Next up, find a job. So up on the CFML jobs website, there's 143 positions available at the look of it, right? Wow. A lot of job opportunities over the last few months. So what's new this week, Daniel?
So we've got a full-time senior software engineer at ColdFusion at Delhi, India. That was posted on the 28th. And we'll have you go ahead and post a link to that. We've also got other online jobs at lightning-newyork.breezy.hr. And as always, you can go to Ortus is hiring. Go to ortussolutions.com about us careers. There's also job channels in the CFML Slack team and the Box Slack team where people post different opportunities. So check all those out.
Yep, a lot of good stuff in there. So we'll share those right now. Sorry, I'm a little behind because I was sharing my screen too. But it's really good to see so many job opportunities out there. I know a lot of people are struggling to find work, and some people are struggling to find people. So hopefully we can put the 2 groups together and everybody be happy.
No worries.
Okay, so next up, we have our ForgeBox module of the week. And so this one is actually one from our friend, Matthew Clemente. And this is something I've never heard of, but it goes along with my little session I started last week about how AI is taking over the world. Because Dialpad CFC is basically a wrapper for the Dialpad API, and they use it to interact with Dialpad call and contact center platforms to make calls, send SMS, and manage your account, and more. But the interesting thing is if you go to the Dialpad API, if it's not too slow to get there, they've got a bunch of cool stuff, and they've got the Postman tool right there, which is nice. But this is apparently API powered. So when I click on this to go back to the main Dialpad, I'll have to just read the description off my show notes because I can't get to it from there. It's all the developer stuff. But Dialpad has experienced the future of AI in the workplace. With built-in speech recognition and natural language processing, Dialpad AI is completely changing the way the world works. So unless I got the wrong place, it looks like it should be pretty good. So it's going to be kind of cool to use the natural language stuff. I know that with chatbots and stuff, they're getting better with that. So it'll be kind of cool when that stuff all takes off. So, but that is our ForgeBox module of the week, Dialpad CFC, and he does mention it's an early stage API wrapper and doesn't cover the entire API yet. So feel free to use the issue tracker to report bugs or suggest improvements. He'd greatly appreciate the input and help.
Nice.
So next up, we have VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week, and this one we've mentioned like 18 months ago, maybe a little more, but that was when it was in beta. And now you can actually start using GitHub Copilot for your code. And so there's quite a lot of stuff in here. There's actions, packages, there's a lot of cool stuff. But in the Copilot piece, it really is doing some cool stuff. And when I was working with Scott and even doing stuff with Adam, like you can basically type out a bit of code and it'll guess pretty good on a lot of the stuff. Now, it does read from all these different languages. It doesn't have as much ColdFusion in the GitHub library to read from, but the more I use it, the smarter it gets, and it's getting pretty cool. So like you'll see, just put in a comment here, and then start the function, and it can figure out a lot of the other pieces. So it actually reads the comments, and that's actually how it gets the intent of your code. And then a lot of the times it'll guess pretty good code, and I just need to tweak a little bit of it. And I was showing somebody some stuff yesterday. They're like, "What keeps doing that? How are you doing that?" And it's basically GitHub Copilot was filling in the gaps. But yeah, it's pretty neat. And when you start typing, it gives you like a tab option. So if you tab, it'll complete it. Otherwise, you just keep typing and it'll disappear, or push escape and it'll go away. But it just has some pretty cool options. And yeah, sometimes it gives you some really nice flavors. And it's VS Code extension, but you can use it elsewhere as well. But it's really pretty cool. I mean, and of course it supports all your languages. So when I'm working in Vue and JavaScript, man, it's really cool. It really does just do what you need it to do. So it helped me a lot with that, especially with the linter turned on and everything. It knows what you're using. It does some cool stuff. But it's not the best code ever, but it's getting better and better and better. And a lot of it is just suggesting. But basically 26% of the code that it generates, people will actually accept. So, and Charlie, yes, I am saying it is helping with ColdFusion. So sometimes it'll spit out some really useful ColdFusion, and sometimes it'll think it's like Java almost, and it'll spit out like a Java version of it. So you can take the verbosity out, and it kind of works. But a lot of times it'll guess function names that may not be there because it's not quite the language that it thinks. But it is trying to guess from just the comments and everything. So I've been using it. I actually do like it. It's interesting. But the free trial, after I think today is the free trial's over, so I guess I'm paying for the first month. But yeah, and Adam says in his experience, it confuses CF script for JavaScript about 80% of the time. So,
but Gavin, does it support tag islands?
It'll probably get really confused with tag islands, but maybe I'll think it's JSX and it'll be fine.
There we go.
So
cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, are you done with the?
Yep, I'm gonna just turn it over. So that's our VS Code hint tip trick of the week. Go check it out. You can get a free trial for a couple of weeks. It's pretty neat. So go try it. Put some more CFML code in there, and it'll get better for everybody.
Cool. I just want to do a quick correction. Thank you, Charlie. It's actually, we were talking about the online job postings. The other link was in Lighting, New York. I guess there is no Lightning, New York. So my bad. I did not read that. But we do have the link out there in the show notes. If you go do that and check it out, and you can check them out. So thank you for keeping us correct. I appreciate it.
No problem. So, okay, now we're up to the Patreon support. This is where we thank all of our Patreon supporters. And up until the end of the year, and this is a new thing, Daniel, up to the end of the year, we're going to be reading all the names of all our Patreon supporters. After the new year, I think we're going to have to cut it back because we got so many supporters now. There is meant to be a level in Patreon that your name is read on the podcast. And so you'll definitely get your name read if you're at that level or above. And I don't remember what it is yet. But until the end of the year, we're definitely going to read all the names. So, but because of them, we're actually able to do things like CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, TestBox, and all the other boxes, as well as do our package management with CommandBox and ForgeBox. And like I said, the funding supports this podcast in its entirety, and it also helps to pay some of the AWS bills for our package management too. And you can support us up on patreon.com/ortusolutions. And remember, there are perks. There are perks for doing this. So not only are you saying thank you to us, we're giving you a thanks for saying thanks to us. So if you're a bronze package and up, you get a ForgeBox Pro account, you get a CFCast subscription as a perk. And if you have any Patreon level, you will get the profile badge on the community website. You'll have access to that private forum access on that community website too, as well as a private channel on the Box Team Slack. And then you also have live access to streams that we're doing, like Coding with the Kiwi and Friends and the Ortus Software Craftsmanship Book Club. So there's some cool things there, and we're trying to do more and more for our Patreons, and you guys will find out a little earlier about certain things. You will get discounts on certain things. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do for you as a Patreon. So hopefully you think it's worthwhile, and get out to the community.ortusolutions.com, site and check that out, because there is stuff there for non-Patreons too. A lot of good stuff on that community site. But do you want to try and mispronounce the names for us all?
I will, but really quick. Adam posted a code snippet. This is probably a personal preference, but I'm missing a semicolon, Adam. but I appreciate the shout out. Okay, so Patreons. We love our Patreons. So here we go. John Wilson at Sonatrix, Jordan Clark, Gary Knight, Mario Rodriguez, Giancarlo Gomez, David Bellinger, Dan Codd, Jonathan Parrott, Jeffrey McGee with Sunstar Media, Dean Maunder, Nolan Irk, Abdul Raheen, Will DeBruin, Joseph Lamery, Don Bellamy, Jan Yannick, Lakshmi Tirtahadi, Brian Gianelli, with Haggerty Motorsports Reg, Carl Von Stetten, Jeremy Adams, Didier Lesnicki, Matthew Clemente, Daniel Garcia, Scott Steinbeck with Agri Tracking Systems, Ben Nadell, Richard Herbert, Brett Deline, Kai Koenig, Charlie Arehart, Jason Diger, Sean Oden, Matthew Darby, Ross Phillips, Edgardo Cabezas, Patrick Flynn, Stephanie Mongi, Kevin Wright, John Wish, Peter Amiri, Kayvon Vanis, and John Nessum, who I met at Summit, and it was great meeting you, John. So thank you for signing up and supporting us. As always, you can see a up-to-date list of all our sponsors on the Ortus Solutions website, ortussolutions.com, about us/sponsors.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Thanks, everybody, to Patreon. And just so you know, it doesn't look like your tag islands work in TryCF. So if anybody wants to try it.
Oh, I didn't try that. You want to share your screen and see if Adam's code works? Oh, we know it's the end of the day.
No, it doesn't work, but it's okay. I can share real quick, too. So, but yeah, I put it in there, and it doesn't work. So, local screen. So we have this, and you click Run Code. Undefined tag, CF output on line 4. And I think that's mainly because TryCF does some work to wrap stuff before it sends it off. So, yeah.
Maybe if Adam would have started with the tests first before the code, he would have caught that.
No, it's, yeah.
Poke.
It'd probably work in just a normal page, but yeah. So I thought that was funny just to finish off the day. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We really appreciate all of you coming in here, keeping us up and heckling where needed. But a lot of great content coming your way, a lot of great stuff out there. And remember, if you have any news, jobs, or anything else you want to share, let us know. And if you post stuff up on Twitter, make sure you add the CFML or the ColdFusion hashtags, and that way we'll find it. If there's any sites we're missing from our list, let us know. We'll add their RSS feeds to our email, and we'll keep you up to date.
Yeah.
But
don't forget, office hours this Friday, 11 a.m. Chicago time.
Yep, so go check that out. And then Adam's like, Mastodon. Well, which Mastodon, Adam? There's a million different ones. Everyone's going to Mastodon, but they're migrating to different servers, so you can't find people. So which one are you going to? Mastodon's a Twitter clone, but it's a decentralized one. And so, therefore, you have to go sign up to a particular server. So I think Mastodon.social was just the big one. Yeah, so I'll have to start signing up to 500 different Mastodon places and following those tweets. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, you can just add your feed. So, anyway. But it's good times. So, thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll catch you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.